Graph GRT is currently undervalued, but I don't think it's going to be for long. It's sort of like when going into a store and you want to find something that's really high quality, you know it's going to last a long time, and it would be nice to get a discount. GRT is it, and I'm going to show you why. I'm Joanna Garzilli. This is Crypto Angel Network. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, for lighting up the bell to get my notifications, for liking your wonderful comments. And remember, sharing the videos is caring. Yes, sharing is caring. So thank you for doing that. All right, so let's get into Graph. We are going to be looking at here the history of Graph, the fundamentals, a little bit of technical, and then my gut analysis. This is why I'm doing this, because I've been having a feeling for the past week to 2 weeks that Graph is getting ready to make a move again to its old all-time high. And this is not investment advice. So let me go ahead and share my screen so that we can look at one of the reasons why I think Graph is... The news hasn't caught up yet. I mean, the news hasn't caught up to what is happening right now in terms of its price, the price on the exchanges. Graph surpasses 20 billion queries in April as Web3 usage reaches new highs. This is a really, really big deal. Graph originally came onto Coinbase back in December, and it went on a meteoric rise. I mean, it just pumped. It was incredible. Then it went through some retracement, and then it pumped a lot and then some. Graph has been backed by Coinbase Ventures. So they had an initial investment there from them, very solid. And this is just one of these projects that, you know, has really, really strong fundamentals, has a massive use for DeFi, for decentralized finance, and building Web3, which we are in the process of moving towards at an accelerated pace. One of the things that Coinbase did was they launched GRT on Coinbase Pro, and that same day it went onto the main Coinbase. That was how I first came across it. And they also they included Graph as part of the Coinbase EARN, where you would learn a little bit about what GRT was, and then you would get $3 worth of it. And then the price went absolutely crazy. So back when Graph launched, going back to the amount of queries they had in November, I think it was around, what was it? I think it was 1 billion then. And prior to that, earlier in 2020, when they were just really doing things more before they were officially launched on an exchange, their queries were in the millions. So just thinking about how within a year they have gone from millions to double-digit billions of inquiries is huge. And so this, this right now I feel is not being reflected in the price, because if you think about it, Graph has come such a long way since its launch on Coinbase in December, and yet, now the price is lower. And this is why I'm saying it is totally undervalued. If we just go back here, it says in January 2019, they hit approximately 30 million daily queries. In June 2020, okay, there's the correct numbers. And daily query volume in 2021 has continued to grow and has reached over 675 million queries per day. And then between May 2020 to April 2021, over 110 billion queries were processed on the Graph's hosted service. My understanding is this is while they, beforehand, I think it was in January, they went from, was it end of December? They went from being centralized to launching their mainnet and becoming fully decentralized. So they really want to, Graph, the founders of Graph, Yaniv Tal, Brandon Ramirez, they want to make sure that they are truly embodying in their mission the idea of being decentralized, because there are a number of projects out there that they're within the DeFi space and blockchain, but they are highly centralized. For example, XRP would be one of those examples that acts more of a bridge between the central mainstream banking system and decentralized finance. So month over month, we can just see that there is growth here. They're saying a 20% month over month average growth. Look at this on their chart here, January 2020 to May the 1st, 2021. So what does this mean? What can we expect then in terms of the amount of queries by the end of 2021? I mean, I would imagine that we are going to move, as we've moved into double digits, into tens of billions. Could we not be moving? I would think, with all I'm going to show you in a moment, the ecosystems and why it's set to go into the 100 of billions. And then I would imagine there will come a point, I would think, I don't know if it'll be this year, but in 2022, that graph should hit $1 trillion plus queries. That seems very realistic based on the explosiveness of DeFi that is happening. So with that being said, let's just pop down here. Among those chains, here we go, multi-blockchain expansion has been actively contributing to this growth. To date, there are 19 layer 1 and layer 2 blockchains. For those who are newer to crypto, think of it that Ethereum is the layer 1, and then layer 2 is what's built on top of that. And that graph is hosting those services. So these include, the chains are EVM based, that is Ethereum, means Ethereum virtual machine. And it includes Ethereum, Fuse, Celo, Avalanche, Clover, Binance Smart Chain, and Phantom, and layer 2 such as Polygon. So these integrations of these chains have contributed to that 20% month over month query growth. And just think, as Graph starts to create more interoperability and query searches with other large ecosystems, what this is going to mean. I would imagine eventually it will go into the quadrillion and maybe even quintillion searches. So this is really, really, I mean, we're just at the beginning of this. And I think that that's where Graph has sort of pegged themselves, what I would sort of say in their marketing as they're the future Google. You can see how that is coming into effect, but it just hasn't caught up at large because of how crypto is and that there's so much speculation around it. So this is why I think that Graph is, in terms of how it's doing within the market cap, and when we look at CoinGecko and their ranking, I think that we're going to see some explosive growth for them coming, and throughout, like later on in this year, and then in 2022, when other projects, or sort of these, what I would call these shooting star projects that come up, and it's like, wow, it's like the favorite overnight success, and then it just quickly dies. And Graph is going to be here for the long term. It will, I believe, turn into something really, really big. So the Graph is continuing its multi-blockchain expansion and will integrate Solana, Near, and Polkadot in the coming months for even more growth. Well, Polkadot is going to go huge. I think it's ranked number 8 right now. And as an ecosystem, it being built on top of Ethereum, and the speed of the network, and that it has forkless upgrades, and that the transactions are a fraction of the cost. What one would be paying in gas fees on Polkadot, it is hardly anything compared to what we have on Ethereum now. So as Polkadot really starts to prove, and is already doing so, its scalability and its interoperability, we're going to see that explosive growth in query for Graph. And again, that's just one example of it. I don't see Cardano integrated with this here, but I would imagine at some point, would they not form a relationship with Graph? The other thing is that why I think Graph is so undervalued is because I don't really see anyone else. I see multiple other ecosystems out there, different social currency tokens, different projects for privacy and traceability, but Graph is the main project that I see that is really query based, that is focused on search. DeFi makes up 57% of queried subgraphs. And then we've got the 11% of subgraphs serve the NFT, non-fungible token marketplace, places, arts, and gaming. So this here alone, this is why I'm so bullish on it. Now, if you have been following Crypto Angel Network for the past few months, I had a whole load of GRT. I did very well with it. I did take profits on it. I then did a video talking about why it was dumping, because the price, it was up there. It was holding strong in the twos, and then it started to go down. It experienced quite a bit of retracement. And I'm going to be transparent here. I did sell my Graph, but that did not mean that I do not believe in the project. Each person has to do their own thing of what feels right for them. I just wanted to share that, just to be upfront with you here. That's what I've done. However, I am thinking about that in my portfolio, that I want to add something back in for the longer term. And I have 50% of my portfolio is Ethereum. I do feel that GRT is going to be, it is gold and then some. So I am, as I'm recording this, I haven't decided yet, but as I did deeper research here to bring you this video, I sort of go, well, why don't I have any Graph right now? It's an absolute steal right now. It is at an incredible price. And again, this is just my personal opinion, not investment advice. You have to do your own due diligence. If one is looking to make a quick buck and it's that, oh, I want that 1000x altcoin, I don't think then Graph is the right project for you. It's more, and it also, if you just want to go and day trade, I don't think right now Graph would be that. I mean, one could do, but it's a lot of hours staring at the computer screen. I think that if you're looking to get into a project that you just are looking at being patient and having longer term rewards, then GRT could be a good fit for you. So I think part of why there was an issue with the price, some of you, I'd done this video about where I'd said, oh, I'm just hodling, don't panic sell. And then a number of comments came through from the GRT community that there was there was issues, there was division happening within the Graph community. And I want to address that and talk about some of the updates, the things that I see here that are very, very important. So let's just go back a moment to about GRT token distribution at the mainnet, right? This was when they launched here, and that was on December the 20th. And let me go back a step here. Hang on a second. We're at the Graph Council. No, I don't want to go to that. Distribution. Here we go. GRT also has a vesting and distribution schedule ranging between 6 months to 10 years, depending on the bucket. Around 12.5% of the total token supply, which is just over 1.2 billion GRT, is expected to be in circulation at launch. And then this figures an exclusive of stakeable but locked tokens. Now, what started to happen is that people began to say that because a number of tokens will be ready where they could be vested and could be taken out in June, that was going to crash the price. And then there was disagreements about the, let me just go here, about the Graph improvement proposal. This is when I started to see, I couldn't understand, why is the price dropping? And this is what a number of certain people who were more on the inside of the GRT of the graph community started to say it's about this, the vesting of the tokens and the indexes versus curators and delegators, and how these sort of the different directions things could go. I want to just share with you an update here of what I see, and all this information, none of it's hidden. You can find this quite readily. It's not hidden at all on the web. So one of the things here that was really, really critical, and I think where all this FUD started coming in, was the, let me just get clear here with you, excited to ramp up the graph improvement proposal GIP process for protocol upgrades hosted on Radical. The Graph Council, since the mainnet launched in December 2020, we got all this with the foundation, with the team. I'm going to show you some other things in a moment. The process, the graph improvement proposal process not only defines a way for contributors to champion a given idea for the protocol, but also gives the council a way to gauge the viability and community support for improvements to the protocol. Like other improvement processes in the DeFi ecosystem, the GIP process is self-bootstrapping. It's what, and 001 is what will define this process. And here, this is important. This is from Brandon Ramirez, who's the co-founder at GRT and lead researcher at Edge and Node. Radical is putting developers back at the heart of code collaboration and providing an alternative to the centralized gatekeepers and data silos that control most Git repositories today. This strongly aligns with the Graph's vision of an open internet built on public infrastructure, and was the natural choice for the I can't even, GIP, I keep having to remember this, graph improvement proposal process. We look forward to future opportunities for the two communities to collaborate, including storing subgraph repositories on Radical and indexing Radical projects using the graph. Let me go over here and address this. If you go to the, a couple of things here that I want to show you, that when you go to GitHub, the Graph Academy here, I like this, this summary here where it says it took a team of roughly 15 people 3 years to build the graph. The graph was one of the first projects to sell a SAFT as opposed to equity, because the team believes in decentralization. And this is, I think that what's really important here about why graph is going to be very, very successful in the long term. I mean, it's not, when I think of the tortoise and the hare, I mean, it's not even a tortoise or turtle, as you'd say in America, by any capacity. It's just, it's sort of like, I like that expression of slow and steady wins the race. They're not racing against anyone, but it's more about them making sure that they achieve their goals and that what they set out to do, that they are going to reach that. They have pre-sold tokens to fund that development, and those initial backers took a tremendous amount of team risk, market risk, and technology risk during an uncertain period. So that was the VC backing that went in. I'm trying to remember a couple of the other VC partnerships. They had some very, very strong VCs go in with them. Obviously, I've already talked about Coinbase Ventures, and oh my gosh, I just can't remember. It's another really solid VC, but there's several of them. Luckily, the team found backers that are long-term aligned and active participants in the network, and they've been incredibly helpful in getting us where we are today. And then the graph solves a huge pain point for developers building applications in Web3 ecosystem. The graph is currently one of the most used protocols in the blockchain space today, behind Ethereum and IPFS growing exponentially. A community of over 6,000 developers have built 3,400 plus subgraphs, deploying them for applications like Aragon, Balancer, Synthetics, Aave, Gnosis, Numerai, LivePeer, DAOstack, Uniswap, Mintbase, Gods, Unchained, Decentraland, and many others. So, and when you look at a number of those different projects I've just mentioned there, they are in the top 50 on the CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, and they have billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars market cap in each one of those projects. Every time to use Uniswap, Synthetics, Aave, you're interacting with the graph. The graph is how each of these applications pulls information from the blockchain, price, duration of time, et cetera, et cetera. And the revenue earned in the network goes to peer-to-peer, to the right, person-to-person, I think that is right, to the indexer, delegator, curator, and the ecosystem. Is there a danger of 51% attacks on the network? It isn't possible. So this doesn't actually pose a security threat to the network. And again, I think this is because it's fully decentralized. You know, they made that move to that mainnet. And then the other thing I wanted to show you here is about the vesting. So let me just take you over to this. You can see here that we've got GRT token release calculator. This is for the curators. You can see that on December the 17th, when they had their launch on Coinbase, it was 10,000 GRT. And then month after month, we can just see here, 1,250. And then if we go here for, hang on, what I wanted to show you for the indexer token release, it was 0 for the indexers on the 17th of December, but it was 16,666.67, and then it is that for every month. So you can just look at those differences there, right? Bigger release for the curator with smaller amounts, and then the indexers, not on that main day, but more after that steadily. And then let me just, I want to come over here. This is really important. And this is going to bring it full circle. So just stick with me here. And then I'm going to show you after this, after, you know, we're looking at the update on fundamentals, we're just going to take a little bit of a look at the price on the charts. And I'm going to share with you what I see and what I anticipate here, what's coming next. So this was a meeting. The Graph Council met. It was all, you know, we got everyone at Yaniv Tal here, Brandon Ramirez, like I said, co-founders, and a number of other council members that are here. And then the Graph Foundation, Eva Bailin is the director of the foundation. So here we go. Let me just go down to, this is really, really important. Graph improvement proposal, process update. And I'm just going to just pull out, extract certain things here for us to just, you know, just to think about here about why Graph is so undervalued, and soon why I think it's going to move pretty quickly to the upside, and how FUD has just, you know, FUD and then distraction because of so many other projects launching that Graph has sort of just gone to the wayside, but it's going to be very hot again soon. A member updated the council that the Graph Improvement Proposal 0002 and 0003 have completed snapshot voting, and there was unanimous support for both. There was an indexer who vocally disagreed with the proposal, even though they didn't ultimately vote. Let's see, backgrounds and criticisms of 2. I want to just get down to some of these key, because I already read all of this, but I want to just pull out the key points here. Okay, proposal would change the power dynamic in the network. Previously, indexers would be required to wait for a thawing period, being able to withdraw rewards in the same way that delegators would. So, you know, delegators is when, say, you own the token and then you can go and stake on the Graph protocol, for those of you who are newer to this, and you get your staking rewards, just like you do, say, for Harmony or VeChain, or now with what's coming with Ethereum 2.0. So you can stake your rewards as a delegator. You don't have to have experience. When you are an indexer or a curator, you have to actually have a certain amount of Graph token to be able to become a curator. I'm trying to remember what the amount is. Is it at least, is it 100,000? I think it's 100,000 GRT to be able to be a curator and to be able to set up a specific node. And as an indexer, you can build out subgraphs. So you got there, your curator, indexer, delegator is that flow. And then there's also fishermen and arbitrators as well. However, the 002 would allow indexers to withdraw immediately, whereas delegators would still be subject to a thawing period. So one of the things that was coming up is, oh, in June, when there's this certain amount of vesting, then everything Graph can get dumped. The price will just crash. Then whales will go in and buy in August. we have seen with Bitcoin what's happened with certain miners when they go and they do a massive sell-off at once. And yes, we have seen where the price crashes, but then it does come back. Then there is support there for Bitcoin. And I think even like worst case scenario, and this has been addressed here, as my understanding, in this Graph Council meeting, and they did reach a unanimous solution. Let's say worst case scenario with vesting, and somehow there was a massive dump. It doesn't, in the bigger scheme of things, it's a blip. It doesn't matter, because what the graph is building out and the importance of that it is at the hub of DeFi and multiple DeFi projects. It's not going to happen. This is just not going to happen. I mean, like, graph would have to be absolutely just totally crazy, or like some type of I don't know, major self-sabotage. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm saying. And let me know your thoughts afterwards in the comments here, because I know some of you are developers, you're indexers, you're curators in the community as well. And I would love to hear your perspective rather than just my fundamentals, my research here. So under the existing thawing period prevents indexes from this type of timing strategy. 0002 was not intended to introduce this kind of new incentive in the protocol. The proposal could encourage a black market in which indexers could keep 100% of indexing rewards to themselves and share their immediately withdrawable rewards with delegators through extra protocol arrangements. This could provide a vector for centralization and disintermediate the protocol's delegation market. So this is not going to happen. The member concluded by describing EdgeNode's efforts to draft Graph Improvement Protocol 0004, which would reintroduce the substance of 002 while imposing a 28-day thawing period on indexers' withdrawal of their indexing rewards. And the member stated that 4 is mostly complete. So it's nearly there. EdgeNode is still evaluating gas costs associated with the proposal and writing the pros that will accompany the proposal. So that's in the works, that's moving through. So the vote was that they would implement Graph Improvement Proposal 3 once the audit is completed, and that they should do so asynchronously rather than dedicating a meeting to the implementation. And they defer implementation of 2 until 4 is complete. So they're really just like tying up all those loose ends. And this is why I feel like they are reaching a huge breakthrough. And we've got to remember that Graph is what they are doing. It hasn't been done before. This is totally new. It's not, they're building this roadmap out. And it's not like they're following something from the past here. And this is, we're in uncharted territories, in uncharted territory. Moving through, let me just get down here further. I just want to, members, the key timing constraints and audits, which will impose at least 2 to 3 week delay before the proposal can be adopted. I want to get to other key points here. Hang on a moment. Hang on. Another member suggested that members be transparent with its reasoning for introducing 4 to replace 2, given that there was a lot of community agreement with the underlying criticisms of 2. So I think this was the big, there were issues between mostly curators and indexers, and about and a certain degree delegators, and that this has been resolved now. The solution has come through GIP 3 and 4. Finally, the council voted the proposal for implementing 2 until 4 is introduced, and to implement 3 asynchronously. Both proposals received 8 affirmative votes. So that's just showing that where they were talking about, oh, could there be division? This was the FUD. That everyone's on the same page, that even though everything's decentralized and there is a council, that Yaniv and Brandon, their leadership, right? Part of leadership, it's not about telling people what to do. It's about having a collective vision and moving towards that together. And that they did reach an agreement with that, and that there is a positive outcome there. So that is all going well with that. So with that being said, I don't think if you hear of any FUD that comes up around, oh, well, what's going to happen in June and the vesting, it's not an issue. There is no issue there. And Graph is making huge breakthroughs. Let me pop over here. I want to go to, I wanted to go here. Let's just go over to the charts. And I just want to show you, let's just talk price before we wrap this up. And then we just come full conclusion here. So if we look here from when GRT launched originally on Coinbase, and it went parabolic right from the get-go. It was incredible. This candlestick went, in the end, it went up to around 240 something, I think was that first, 158 here. Then it went again to 173. It was more around, I feel like it was 240. I don't know why. I think maybe just on that, this is showing this overall as a candle wicks, because I'm zoomed so far out just to see bigger picture. But I just wanted to go from zoomed out before we zoom in and just see that despite the FUD that has happened, or from just in general, that Graph has held really strong, that I think it just pumped so hard, and that many people flew into the project who were speculating, and it's at a point right now where it is getting ready to, it's been consolidating for a period of time. It has not dropped below 1.28. It wouldn't have even gone down to that if it just hadn't been from all the market being affected at large. Right, where Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything, if you look at the charts even right now today, and you see what happened in the past couple of days, there was a huge pump with everything, and then there was another mini bloodbath, and we keep getting these happening. And this is just part of where I think from market manipulation that is happening. It's just the norm. It's just part of it. So I want to let me just zoom out here a little bit. And in terms of price, what can we see next coming? Because if we go back here to around what date was this? The all-time high was 289. And I don't think that's going to happen next month. But what I do think will happen again, where we had this high here, it was actually around 220. I think we're going to start to move back up towards that. We're going to see some parabolic moves coming again for GRT. I do not think, let me just put the lines in here, horizontal line. Let's go green. And let me make sure this is thick enough so we can just look at it. Oh, there we go. Let me just put this in here. So again, this down here, this where it went just below 121, it is not to do with Graph. Like I said, I feel this is market wide across all crypto. And certain things that pump, it's just because of the timing, that it's like new crypto on the block. Yay, new token. Everyone gets excited, they pile in, it goes up 1,000%, then it goes through retracement before moving to the upside again, or whatever the percentages it goes up. And here we can see some resistance right around 170. I'm going to put that just around here. So the resistance to break through. So we're moving here. We can see going back over this past month, we've just, we went down and we've gone through a period of, I don't think this consolidation, I don't think there's anything unhealthy here. I don't think there's any problem at all. People just don't realize actually what is going on with Graph. So this is interesting to me, that the price is lower right now for Graph, and yet when you look, like we did at the beginning, we looked at the 20 billion queries, we look at all the ecosystems that it is providing subgraphs for, these huge ecosystems, and that it's just going from strength to strength. So I think that that's going to be reflected soon. If you were going to open a trade, well, I think that we're going to start to see things move to the upside again as we bounce back from this bloodbath. As of what date are we on? We're May the 13th today. I cannot, this is just like a fluke thing here where it dipped down to 113. I would be very, very surprised. I just can't imagine Graph going any lower. Now, if for some reason it did go below the support line of 121, I think that you're going to find it actually bounces very quickly and it starts going fast to the upside. But I think that in terms of timing, what I'm saying was sort of price prediction of when we go all the way back up to test that 220, right? So we've got testing the resistance of 173. Then it was around 220, around 240, and then back up to that all-time high of around 289. I would say next, I think that in this next couple of weeks, you need to watch. Oh, hang on a sec. I'm doing the wrong line here. I want you to watch for, hang on a sec. Let me just go with yellow here. Let me just show you this. Let's go from here. Let's follow this line here. So it went here, but let's go, yeah, let's follow this line here like this. I want you to watch where you can see little clues of how much volume is there. The news that happened recently, this amazing news, and it didn't pump. But like I said, I think it's coming. And when are we going to move? Like, I just want to see, like, I'm just thinking aloud here. You can see me how I think about this. In terms of moving back up to 173, will it happen in the next 2 weeks by end of May? It should do. But I think because some people out there, there's still this sort of just being, people waiting for June. I think that's partly what is happening. So what I'm going to say here is that in June, I think that we are going to move definitely back up above 173. And let's zoom out here. And I think that where we went from up around here to here, let me just grab another trend line going from here to here. You see, I think we're just going to move back up to that. So June, we're going to get back up to around this 216, 220 and be retesting that. When are we going to go and retest that all-time high? If we zoom out here, the 289, I would say, August, I'm being conservative here. August should be over $3 again and actually moving towards $4. I would say that I think it is very, very realistic that by the end of this year, December 2021, that graph will be at least $5 and could even move towards 10. But I would say probably maybe I'm going to split the difference and go around $7. Now, some people who come from more traditional trading background will just say, well, it's impossible because of the market cap, the circulating supply. But what I've noticed lately is that has been defied by some tokens that have absolutely no fundamental use, or they are based off of social currency, they're based off of marketing hype, or they have an unlimited supply, as we have seen with Dogecoin, as we have seen with tokens that maybe, where people have said, oh, well, it's got a quadrillion supply. So it then has to have a market cap of 20 trillion. That's just not possible. That hasn't stopped those tokens pumping and then some. So I think that it just doesn't, we can't just take the sort of the traditional way of looking at circulating supply and looking at, oh my gosh, hang on, bear with me, circulating supply and market cap. Thank you. And market cap. There's different factors in here. And the other thing that we have to look at is that how it takes time for great news to go and catch up. for it to catch up with people at large. And so those are my thoughts there. Those are my overall thoughts. So in summary, if you were looking for a project that really represents the heart of DeFi, decentralized finance, the growth of blockchain, something that no crypto we could say is safe, but DeFi is going to be around to stay here. So if I was going to look at a project besides Ethereum that I feel that has very, very, very strong legs, I put Graph right up there, that it's solid. And then what can we expect in the years ahead? 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, I don't see why Graph would not be a $20, $30, $40, even $50 token. I think that is very, very realistic. And within, I'd say, within this next 10 years, why could it not be $100, $200, $300, $400 token? If you look at certain other tokens like Aave or Binance, the BNB token, I know they're different uses, they're different things, but still those tokens have gone into the hundreds of dollars. And yes, I know BNB has a lesser circulating supply, but not so much so. I think it's only 4 times less, 3-4 times less. So I am extremely bullish on Graph. Like I said, I know I had sold my tokens, but that was my personal decision. I'm highly likely to go back into it. As I have gone and done this video, I have convinced myself, I'm going, why don't I have any GRT in my portfolio? This is ridiculous. And I think part of this is as well, the idea of being a crypto angel. It's, yes, part of it, everyone's in crypto to make money, to make gains. But part of it also, I think about, if we come back to the sort of the idea of back in the day, what did it mean to be an angel investor? It was that when you believed in a project, you were part of it, and that growth and supporting that. That's what these VCs are doing. And that is what we have the opportunity, each one of us on a smaller scale, by being crypto angels. And so there's a good feeling, I can't say for you, but there is a good feeling sometimes about being part of a project and seeing it grow. So I will let you know what I do, and let me know, are you holding Graph? How do you feel about it? What are your price predictions? Are you bullish on it? And any other news, anything that I don't know that you can share here within the Crypto Angel Network community, updates on Graph and your thoughts with it would be greatly appreciated. I'm Joanna Garzili. This is Crypto Angel Network. And thank you for subscribing to the channel and sharing this video.